Hey everyone, my name is Tommy Reynolds and today I'm going to take you behind the scenes from my last photo shoot using two PIXAPRO modifiers. The first one I'm going to tell you very briefly about is the 120cm DeepPara Softbox, and the other is the 70cm beauty dish that I used on my last photo shoot. But first we're going to talk about this guy. So this is becoming one of my favourite modifiers to use, and what I love about it and the reason why it looks so wide and kind of long is that's why it's called a DeepPara. So you've got normal parabolic softboxes, but this one's a DeepPara because it's longer, and the reason why it's longer is because it allows you to give you a bit more of a punch. It's more, the light is more focused and it gives you more contrast in your image, but because of the internal and external diffusion layers, you still get a nice soft light. So it's kind of a mix between the two. It's kind of like if I was using my parabolic softbox and I maybe put a grid on, that gives me that soft light, but it also channels it forward and focuses it as well. But what I love about this is it gives me kind of that halfway in between. It's almost halfway between gridded and when it's fully open. And that's what I love about this softbox and why I was using it in these shots right here. So I had it at a 45-degree angle, which is kind of my go-to setup. And it's great because with this softbox, it allows you to move the softbox a little bit further away than you might typically do with a parabolic softbox. Because of how the inverse square law works, and we won't get into that, but basically the way that light spreads, on a normal parabolic softbox, it will just go out, 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 out. And if you've got it, and the further back you've got it, the further out it will go, and kind of the flatter the light will become. It won't be as contrasty as if it was here, for example. But what's good about this is because it's already deep, it's already focused forward, and that's why I'm able to get a nice contrasty image. And I could, if I wanted to, have it further back than the typical parabolic softbox. So that's one cool thing about the DeepPara softbox. As you can see, the external diffusion is Velcro, so you can just Velcro this up and have double the layer of diffusion, or you can just have the single layer of diffusion if you want even more of a punch with your image. So this is the DeepPara softbox, and it's becoming one of my favorite modifiers to use because I don't need to grid this. It gives me that nice contrasty light, but still keeps it soft as well. And with my work, that's kind of a running theme with my images and my style is I like to keep it moody, at the same time soft as well if I need it to. So this gives me a combination of that, which is why for me it feels like that this is almost the sweet spot in terms of finding a good modifier. And so I jump between this and a couple of easy open softboxes. So these are now becoming my go-to softboxes that I pull out the bag. And speaking of the bag, it does come in a really, really cool bag as well. As you can see, the center has actually got a tiny bit more diffusion than it does around the outside, and that's purposely just to stop the hotspot. But because it's only one layer of diffusion and the silver interior, you still get the cool specular highlights. If you want to go a little bit more harder and a little bit more fashion-y, then it's still good for that without having the big hotspot. So this, for me, another reason why I really enjoy using this softbox. One of the cool things that I did in this shoot is I used my Polaroid camera and I was able to hook it up to modern piece of technology using the PIXAPRO battery-powered CITI600. So I was able to hook that up to the CITI600 and fire with strobes into my Polaroid camera to create something really unique. And if you want to find out exactly how I did this, I will also leave another link in the description below explaining in detail how I connected the Polaroid to this exact CITI600 and the 120cm DeepPara softbox. That was hard to say. One of the nice things I like about using this softbox in a smaller studio like I have here is compared to my other softboxes, my other easy open softboxes that I use, because of the way they spread left and right, and I get a lot of bounce because I've got white walls either side. So I 9 times out of 10, I have to grid them, and sometimes the grid is too harsh, whereas this, again, like I said earlier, feels like it's a sweet spot between gridded and not gridded softboxes. Whereas this, it just does it for me. It's great. I can just whack this straight on my CITI600 and start shooting in this small environment and know that I'm not going to worry about the light spreading left, right and having some fall off and it bouncing off the walls. It's still going to give me a nice contrasty light. I can have it back if I want to, and because of the shape of the softbox, it's still going to channel it forward and still give me that nice contrast light. With the diffusion, give me a nice diffused look. So that is the 120cm DeepPara softbox.